Okay, and we're live. Yeah. Thank you for joining on another lovely Monday. Welcome to the Gamer Librarian Podcast. We're on episode 114, almost 115. Crazy. I mean, that's a pretty awesome achievement in and of itself. Now, there is a lot to talk about. We have the Game Awards coming up very, very soon, Thursday. I mean, whatever could be happening at the Game Awards is completely up in the air. There's a lot of games that we've seen announced this year, a lot of cinematic and gameplay trailers. We all know all of that. Now, I'm here for the brand new announcements. As always, that's what I'm looking forward to. More games to look forward to. There are some games that I believe will be previewed in a big way at this showcase. One of them might just have to be The Elder Scrolls. I mean, that's all they got. And then Gears of War E-Day, that's definitely something that they're gonna have to bring up. That's all that Xbox got, right? There's like Fable and a lot of other stuff. I don't really care about their other catalog, right? I think they're fumbling in the water. Who cares about that new Halo game? But for the Game Awards, we are in for a treat with maybe GTA 6 gameplay. I mean, it's probably time to show off gameplay. And the Game Awards is definitely the time to show that, probably towards like the end. Now, whatever Jeff Keighley has going on with his statue in the Mojave Desert, is that Bloodborne 2? That's what I would hope that it's for, at least in terms of like an old IP, right? I think it's probably more clever with a newer IP, maybe something with like real money behind it, like Sony's Sorrows game. I feel like that's a little more inclined. It looks a little more like that. People are saying like Lords of the Fallen or something, at least Dark Soulsy. Maybe it's like Path of Exile or what is it, Diablo? I think people thought it was. Who could say? I just want to see the game announcements. But we're going to. It's going to be Thursday. It's going to be a crazy, crazy time. So there's a few things we talk about here, like Ball Pit getting an update next year, which I'm very excited for. That was me with my computer. That wasn't you. And then we have, I believe we have from the same publisher, Cult of the Lamb. I'm excited for that DLC. I mean, it's supposed to be like a ranch farming type style DLC. I'm excited, especially because it has co-op now. It'll be a much better excuse to go back to it with this DLC. And now, there's things like the Steam machine versus PlayStation 5. Now, there's all kinds of stuff about the price with that game, that console and stuff. Who knows what that could be? I feel like they might have a game behind it. I think that's probably more likely. Something like Half-Life or Left 4 Dead or Portal even. I mean, Team Fortress maybe not, but I feel like maybe that's probably more in line, I would hope. That's just my guess is I just want more games. Right. Steam seems cool. And I did want to mention the PC gaming show. I mean, we don't usually cover the gaming show in relatively big depth because, it's usually in line with things that we've already usually seen. It's not usually a whole bunch of announcements. They had a big thing here of like the biggest wish list games of Steam, right? Which is pretty insane. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like Lego Batman, but Clockwork Revolution, that's a game that we've been waiting to finally release, right? And to me, like games when they have gameplay trailers, that's really when you know that they're actually like cooking or being made or all that stuff. Like there's actual progress. Because like to me, number 16, Marvel's Blade game, we don't know anything about it. Like there's nothing. It's from Arcane. Like we're never gonna see this game ever. That movie was canned. That's gone. At the very least, we've played Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Right, Armor 4 has been established forever. Star Wars is Zero Company. Who cares about Star Wars games these days with those? We see some tracks of Warhammer. I mean, Neo's massive. Only Musa, obviously, still massive. Resident Evil, super, super massive. Control 2, I don't think there's no gameplay for it. So, like, no. GTA 6, obviously, mostly wish listed, but, like, no gameplay. Stranger than Heaven, I believe there is some type of rumored announcement for it. And obviously, they're from the Yakuza people. There's a little more track record with them. Or might be getting some of that. Haunted Chocolatier. I'm dying for this game. There's no real like gameplay for it. There's obviously stuff in terms of like the last trailer from like 4 or 5 years ago, but I'm waiting on that game. I'm very excited for it. The 007 game, after a game like Hitman, I don't know. I think the newer Hitman games really allow that stealth type of vibe, and 007 is a little too straightforward, especially in terms of like what we've already seen from their stuff. It's just like another first person type style game. And I can't believe that Slay the Spire 2 is number one. I mean, I played the first game. I think it's really, really fun. I would love to play the second game, but like for this game to be on top of, I'm gonna be honest, something like GTA, Stranger Than Heaven is kind of, a really big shock. I think that's more so like there's no gameplay yet for GTA 6, so it hasn't even like gotten hyped up, especially because like PC stuff, right? I think we'll probably expect Stranger Than Heaven to, sooner than GTA 6. Haunted Chocolatier though probably be launch PC. It's definitely a much smaller demanding game. Can't see that game not launching on anything other than like all platforms at the same time. 007 still, I mean, that game has gameplay. We've been seeing that. And instead of the Spire, it's not demanding. It's just surprising in terms of, it being wishlisted more currently right now and all that. Exciting, exciting. New games, though. New games. I mean, not a whole lot. There's some of your standard, like, turn based. There, I mean, Carmageddon looked awesome. Carmageddon looked really cool in terms of bringing back that arcadey car battle, twisted metal type stuff. Really, really dig that vibe. And then we get into some like side scrolling stuff. Now, where Dogpile seemed like a really fun game, I'm gonna keep an eye on that one, just because it seemed much smaller. Killing Floor is still going, right? Killing Floor 3. I'm surprised we haven't on Killing Floor 4 yet. Battlestar Galactica is coming back. I'm waiting on surprised that there's Starship Troopers coming out with like, Helldivers, just in the horizon. I feel like maybe you could just be like, oh, we'll just do a crossover with them. That might be a little better or something like that. Hello Sunshine seems like it's getting a lot of really good hype for what it, you know, might be, offers or whatever. I mean, like, but we some survival type game where you follow this giant mech around. Maybe you know, heal it up or whatever as you play it. High on Life 2, surprised this game is even coming out. I mean, it definitely seems fun with that skateboarding aspect. The first game was enjoyable. It might be a decent excuse to have on Game Pass, but it's going to be on other consoles. So, like, that's just a really good, you know, game to play on those vibes, right? Game Pass is just another big, big way to play games. PC gaming show being powered by Xbox Game Pass is pretty crazy. Especially when you consider like the first like I don't know 40 minutes to an hour that was talking about the most wishlisted Steam games. I don't know if they have like a most wishlisted Game Pass games, but whew, that was very weird. Here is a game that I want to talk about. Last Flag. Last Flag seems so awesome, bringing back that obviously capture the flag vibe, and with the placement mechanic that they have, where you place and hide the flag. I think that's really cool. I'm not a big hero shooter dude. I mean, it's a hero class based game where like you pick a certain character and they obviously have like certain traits. I think I'd rather have like class loadouts or whatever, but it definitely seems fun for it being like a capture the flag focused game type because I think it's a game that's like under, like hyped or whatever. I'm surprised it's not in something like Battlefield 6. I would love for something like a capture the flag mode to be in Battlefield 6. That would be really, really cool in my opinion. And then we get the single player game Crimson Desert. I played the MMO for like 50 hours, and it was, decent, but maybe hopefully the single player game will be a lot better, more in focus to like what I like for video games. That type of MMO is not really my vibe. Guild Wars is getting like reforged with its first game. That's pretty awesome. I'm all about fishing games. So this game about fishing, super, super excited for it. And then, I think that's really just it for the games that I wanted to talk about from the PC gaming show. There's not a whole lot here. Yeah, they're all. I mean, Splitgate is just. I'm just so surprised to see that game coming back. Obviously, they're making some version where it's just both games mashed together. Who would have thought they would have done that? That's crazy, especially after like their layoffs or whatever. I mean, they're having a rough time. Cool concept, mixing like Halo and Portal and stuff. But like, I think like sticking to one game, one launch, and then just building upon that forever instead of now just like a very obviously not very well received sequel and then having to put two of games together. I feel like it could have been a slam dunk just making this game out there, but obviously I think they were paid in the past. This new one is free to play. That's crazy. Lot of stuff, but still some cool games to, really look forward to playing. Now, there is sadly the creative director for like Alien Earth season 2 confirmed that there's going to be no Yauja in the show. Very upset. That's very annoying. Okay, so other news aside, there is that Netflix WB buyout. I mean, we could talk about this for a bit because I've been kind of shitting on WB games for a while with their video games, and I think it's rightly earned. I played Gotham Knights. Uh-uh. I didn't even play Suicide Squad. I think that the way that they're handling the Mortal Kombat series and like Injustice, and I don't think that they've done a very good job in managing their video games. So whether or not Netflix buys them out or someone else, right? Apparently this talks about Paramount buying them out. Whoever does that, and I don't care if it's the video games inherently. I mean all of the gaming side, all their properties. I want more of them. I want this to hopefully open the door for these companies to allow more products, more games to be made using these. Obviously, that bleeds into like things like comics, TV shows, other kinds of nonsense. That's decent. Who cares about monopoly? I'm thinking about it like these are at least people who are going to like hand off these properties to allow them to be done in the right way. In the same way where like Marvel goes to someone like PlayStation and PlayStation is like, okay, we're gonna make Arc System Works. We're gonna have Arc System Works make us a game, and it's gonna be a fighting game based on the Marvel characters. That's pretty much how it works. That's what I'm hoping for in this situation. Like Looney Tunes, all the Cartoon Network stuff, all that. Bring it back, all of it. That's what I'm here for. So whoever buys it, I don't care. I just want more video games because I think that like after the recent video games hasn't been very good, has not been very good, and that's definitely seen here with like the newest Lego game being a fourth Batman game, a fourth Lego Batman game. I'm so tired of like Batman just being in front of the DC entirety of it. The video games just no way. So yeah, this might be a relatively shorter episode. That was relatively like all the rants that I wanted to get through, but there is games to talk about. We play Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Haven't beaten it, haven't unlocked Silver Surfer yet, but from what we've played, it is an incredible beat 'em up. I mean the combo almost fighting game style type gameplay is incredible, absolutely incredible. Massively fun game. And for a beat 'em up, I hope it gets DLC. I would like for something more like a survival based mode and then more characters, right? That would be simply sick. Maybe even 6 players, 8 players, something like that. I mean, who knows? Something like that would just be cool down the line in the future. Now, something we've been talking about for a very long time, and that is Metroid Prime. Now, I believe we were in the beginning of the podcast when maybe Metroid Dread came out, which is like the newest new Metroid game. Obviously, Metroid Prime is like a remaster. That's not the same. Metroid Prime 4 keeps the entire aesthetic of the Prime games in its entirety, which is awesome. I haven't gotten to the motorcycle yet. Haven't figured out how to unlock it because it's right after the first boss, which is like the plant thing. But the vibes are there. Apparently, there's some hoopla about the music being locked behind an amiibo or stuff. I just think that's like extra content behind a thing that already kind of is extra content that you don't really like need. I just wanted to play the new iteration of a Metroid game on the newest handheld console, which is sick because this is probably maybe the second best looking Switch game, at least in terms of what I've played on there. I mean, I'm sure maybe Breath of the Wild looks better, but from the newest Switch 2 iteration games, Donkey Kong Bonanza probably looks a little bit better than this in terms of maybe its overall fidelity. I liked the dark grittiness here that they have within this game. That's an art style that I like. But then when you go out into the brighter open areas, you realize it's not as quality as you think it would be, right? Which is totally fine. But it does work in the dark, dank areas, which is pretty cool. And looks better than trailers. Originally it did. It just looks better than trailers. So I think the Switch version, so the Switch 2 version is the way to go for this one, which is pretty cool. So this is definitely a good game for the Switch, but is the Switch worth it yet? No. No, I don't think it is. I think that it's time. I think it's time for Super Smash Bros. To be back front line and center. And the perfect time to do it is right now because Kirby Air Riders is out. I mean, what an incredible game that is. It just brings back so much nostalgia from the early GameCube days and everything else. Like for me, that was just pinnacle. So like it having that Smash Bros type flair already is just so cool. Obviously made by the same developers, right? The same people that put behind Smash Bros. But your Switch console doesn't have Smash Bros now. It's gonna have to do it eventually. And we're in a lot of talks of whether or not handhelds is gonna be the future or not. I mean, the Steam machine is up there. Steam's big like portable thing is also right there. So Nintendo needs to step it up. And the best way to get about that is by your most exclusive feature. And that's Super Smash Brothers. Like, who cares about Breath of the Wild? People just gonna mod that and play it on Steam. Who cares about Metroid Prime 4, Bonanza, Mario Kart World? No. Those games are here to fill time. They're here to fill time. They're here to allow a little bit of growth and newness to some of the characters with their moves, right? Obviously, Donkey Kong is a big example. Someone like Samus, she gets psychic powers in this new game. Who's to say she's not going to get psychic powers in the next Smash Bros? Now that's different, but I think we're just going to get an updated version of Smash Bros. Ultimate with most likely a few new original characters, like maybe two, and then Amiibo DLC, the Echo character, whatever stuff. Probably one of those, right? It's better than nothing, but that this console needs something because we don't even have a lot of upcoming Switch games. Pokemon's out, Donkey Kong's out, Mario Kart's out, Prime is out. The future is here. There is no Switch games out. So what is it? Smash Bros. You gotta put it out. You gotta put it out. I mean, Fire Emblem, people talk about that. There's obviously those things. I think Xenoblade's against another like big collection. It's gotta be Smash Bros, man. It really just gotta be Smash Bros. And then there's the Night Rain DLC. We didn't get a whole lot of time with it, but the Night Rain DLC was really fun. Didn't beat any of the bosses. That's like the main line. We didn't beat the Watchers or whatever they are, the Angels, but those two new like fire dragon things that you fight that are added to the rotation of the first and the first and second nights. Wow, they're I feel about the map though. The map is definitely cool. I wish it was maybe about the same size as the original, but overall, it's still cool. It's a not as like as much as it was Sifting Earth, right? They said it was Sifting Earth, but it's just like a new map. It doesn't really feel like that same kind of vibe. Now, apparently, the this DLC is the first one. There's going to be a second one, which is pretty cool. The second one maybe might add in two new characters. I feel like it won't. It'll probably just be like bosses, weapons, maybe a Sifting Earth. These characters, though, I haven't given the nun character a big try, but I do like the scholar. The scholar's cool. They are only really worth it, I think, if you are playing like with people. They don't really seem like to be the solo type character. Because if I had solo with the scholar, good luck. So definitely going to need to be coordinated with that on that front with those characters. And we made progress in Metal Gear Solid 3. Can you believe it or not? Now, I do believe they might be like a tease for Metal Gear something, the volume collection here at the Game Awards. I just feel like it's probably better chance than nothing than waiting for like a Sony event. I don't know because they already did like the one remaster. What are they really going to do? I just if I beat Metal Gear Solid 3 and there's no way for me to play Metal Gear Solid 4, I'm pirating it. That is downright what I'm doing. And then we played Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls beta. I mean, second beta is cool because it adds, I think it's two whole new characters from what it originally was. It was Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. I don't remember if there's other new characters, but yeah, I mean, this is a really fun tag fighting game, and I want to see it like where it goes. It's just like there's a lot of Marvel games now, right? We have the hero-based Marvel Rivals. Now we have this beat 'em up, and then we had like this fighting game. We had that Mass Effect XCOM style kind of game a few years ago, and now we're getting the Spider-Man single player games and the Wolverine games. Cool, 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 cool. Very, very cool. Kind of tired of seeing the Marvel video game space for a while. So let's hope that like it's this Tokon fighting game and then Wolverine, nothing else, right? Because apparently that Black Panther Captain America game was canceled and shit. Wow, or something. I mean, there's no way we're seeing that game ever. Yeah, it's just insane the way video games is going. But something else that is on the cusp of being one of those things where is the longevity of it worth it? Like, does it take too long to tell some of these stories? And for me, I was, I don't know what it's like to be a manga writer. Maybe I should start doing more in depth, like, uh, you know, research into the history of being a manga writer because you see that trend of them becoming sick during their longer trend forms. We have some of that already with some of these most popular mangas still continuing even with not the original creators. So some of the manga here we're talking about might be in that boat eventually in the future. I mean, I'm not going to say any of the names. I'm probably just going to get them wrong for now. I never remember them anyway. But for the writers of these mangas, right? I can only ever wish you the best health because I enjoy your stories. I want to see them fulfilled to the end. I'm sure you do. Awesome. For something like Jujutsu Kaisen, I wasn't a big fan of the first series, right? The first series was kind of like a shorter, less expanding version of Naruto. But now with this version, we're getting like, aliens, and aliens are a little more in depth to me, right? In terms of like demons or whatever. But to me, that kind of like alien human relationship is more interesting than just there's demons trying to, consume our soul or whatever. And there's humans that work with the demons, I guess. To me, the alien dynamic and the interplay between that is a lot more interesting. So this Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo is really, really awesome. Chapter 14 is really cool. It's setting up future fights that's going to like play into the interplay here, which I think might turn out to like obviously all out war and stuff like that. But I'm here for the ride, right? And forever long this might be. I think the first manga was like 250 or so chapters, maybe just peaking 300. Hopefully this one has a long future ahead of it because I would love to talk about it, forever. Maybe even get some games, right? It'd be really cool when there's going to be a Jujutsu Kaisen game that has both of these. I think that'd be really cool. Both of these, scenarios. Now, obviously, there's mangas like Hunter x Hunter. That one's been going on for a long time. We're waiting on chapters for that. JoJo Lands 30. I mean, this guy is putting out work with the chapters on this. I mean, one a month, that's kind of a lot, you know. I mean, they're pretty long in detail, but like, we're getting One Piece once a week. Whew, but they're fun. JoJo Lands is definitely a crazy, wild ride. There's still like, you know, repercussions coming from the interactions on the boat, and now we're dealing with Howler trying to figure out if people know how to have the rock, and not a lot of fighting there yet. It's really crazy to see where this one's going to go. It's very hard to talk about. It's just so confusing. And then we have like One Piece. One Piece is one of the longer standing ones, and I think that like when One Piece is over, whether it's officially over or not, the end of a generation is there. Like for anime, I think that entire generation is just done, and we want to see where it goes. We're having the giants be betrayed, and then Mu has mind control powers. I mean, that's insane. It's completely insane. So I'm here for every one of these mangas, right? If I didn't read them yet, I'm going to. Dan the Dan, Chainsaw Man, uh, whatever the one is about, like the weird monster islands we're waiting to come out, or whatever, right? Because I see potential in these. I see them being bigger than they could be, bigger than they are, right? Obviously, JoJo Lands and One Piece is massive. Jujutsu Modelo is just starting, right? But it's pretty cool to experience these. I love it. So until then, peace.